Uh, Welcome back to CSM After Dark, episode number 2. I'm joined again with Sawyer and Cooper, typical CSM members here. No guests yet, but if you'd like to see a guest, we'll think of somebody. Our first episode will be uploaded, I think, by the time you're listening to this, it'll be uploaded on Spotify and YouTube. Still working on like Amazon and Apple Music and wherever else you can listen to podcasts, but still trying to figure that out. Just today, we're going to probably talk a little bit more about duck hunting, and then talk about the plans for the summer, fishing, hunting, turkey hunting, fishing, kind of what we do when it gets boring in the summertime. And yeah, you boys got anything to say?
Well, not really.
Welcome back.
Hello there.
All right, so I always got to be weird. Sorry. Um, So we're just I have a few I wrote down a few questions about like duck hunting that's like big. It's starting to become a lot bigger, like these questions. Especially in the hunting industry, like duck hunting wise, goose hunting. And obviously like what's your favorite gun to use for ducks? I'll start with you, Soar, and like kind of why. Like what brand is it? Or what gun do you want? Like what gun do you use, and then what gun would you like love to have? So first off we'll start with like what gun do you use for ducks and geese?
I use my 12 gauge Remington. I'm not exactly sure the model.
It's like 1147 or something like that.
Yes, it's
I'm
something like
yeah.
that, but I'm not sure. It's wooden. I like I like wood guns. I prefer them over camel guns because I think they look cool, so I prefer them. So I'm using that for. I use that actually for turkey hunting too. Even
Really?
ducks,
What what
geese.
kind of what kind of choke tube do you shoot it like ducks versus geese versus like obviously turkey? Do you use the same for ducks or
I
the ducks and geese? Or because I know you've recently
I do
discovered
like
the full choke.
yeah I do like using the full choke a lot, no matter what season it is, duck or goose. But definitely use the full choke for goose hunting. Depends on
Yeah.
where we're sitting over at the property or if we're going some local lake, public hunting. So it really just depends where we're going, but usually I'll use a full choke duck hunting. But I also bring along
Use a
the other
modified.
choke, yeah, modified choke. I bring that
Yeah.
along everywhere and the little thing to take it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
You got to remember the key. The key is the most important thing. Um, do you have a
yeah, for
gun that
sure.
you would love to use or not really, or do you love the gun you use?
Not really. I really like this Remington that I use. It's like it works fine, does the job, it gets the job done,
Old
which is
trusty.
all I look for.
All right, Coop. What gun do you currently use for ducks and geese, or have you been using?
I currently use the Frankie Affinity, which I am not a fan of.
Really? Why is that?
Well, I've noticed that I've kind of the aim on it's just not right. I've noticed I've been missing ducks that I just should not be missing, and even like clays. Like you've been there too. Like I'll just
Yeah,
like there's sometimes where I'll just like absolutely whiff, and I know it's not me, and I've patterned the gun, and the pattern is just way off. It's
yeah,
high and to the left. It's not good at all.
yeah.
And I've
I
tried
mean,
different chokes through it, and I don't know what to do about it besides
yeah,
switch guns.
yeah. I mean, it's a 12 gauge, right? And I mean, I think we all
Yeah,
shoot 12 gauges, right? That's pretty standard for duck
Yeah,
hunting. I know you were talking about getting a new gun. You were talking about maybe trading it in and buying a new one.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. I was thinking of switching to the Winchester SX4 just
yeah.
to get out of those Italian guns. I just want to switch to an American gun.
Yeah, it's also the inertia versus gas powered. I mean, I know gas is a little heavier. Like I shoot a Winchester Super X2, and I'm guessing you do shoot a modified, right? I'm guessing Cooper or
Yeah,
yeah, right? Yeah, that's
yeah.
the I'm the same way. I shoot it. So I shoot like I said, I shoot a 12 gauge. Winchester SX2. It actually was my dad's, and my dad used it for countless years. And I mean, this thing is. I think it clicked one time on me, and I think it was a bad shell. And I've cleaned this gun in and out 24/7. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. This thing's a boat paddle. Everybody talks about like pump shotguns being like so reliable, and like knock on wood so far, like. This gun is never ever like I've never had genuine issues with it to where something goes wrong or something breaks or maybe I think my dad maybe replaced the not the choke tube but the I'm blanking the plug. He had to change the plug out on it in one time, but other than that, like I love that thing. I shoot it improved or modified it pretty much everything. I'm an okay shot, but when it comes to shooting a full choke, the only person I've ever seen who can actually use a full choke all the time is Sawyer. Like I cannot. I put a full choke in and I can't hit a barn. And
Nor
for some
goose.
reason, I think just unless you're hunting geese at like and you know you're shooting 60 yards or 50 yards, like I'm not. I'm shooting a modified just because the I feel like the spread on that's just kind of perfect. Um, Now what is I'm gonna we'll go back into the choke tubes in a second, but what is your favorite shot size to use, like your shell size to use for like a duck? So I'll start with you, or do you
Cooper,
just
we'll start with you.
Who?
Cooper?
Start with me.
Cooper, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I've kind
Like what?
of been all over the place, but I'd probably say number fours.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that one. I mean, I think a lot of people shoot twos. Like a two is a very standard duck number. I think a four is the best. Um, like you said in the last episode, we kill mostly mallards, and I never really have an issue with fours. Um,
Yeah.
I think Sora is more on the bigger side. I think Sora, what do you shoot like a two or something like that? Sora likes to shoot a bigger shell towards him, but
It really depends because I usually just shoot whatever Cooper gets,
yeah,
which in
that's
this
true.
situation would be a four. But
Yeah,
if we have to pull out the goose loads and we'll blow them up.
that's very true. I mean, it's and that's enough. That's a hard thing about hunting in the river. It's like you'll get an odd goose here and there, so it's like you almost sometimes like I've even shot ones down there, like 3.5 inch ones, which is practically a goose load, and I mean, it doesn't really tear the ducks apart, but like you almost have to be ready for that goose to come in, which is also nice. Why you shoot a full choke? It's nice to have somebody who can actually poke out there and maybe knock down a
Yeah.
goose, even with a duck shell. But I remember Cooper. I think Cooper. What you watched the video this spring. I don't, and if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he's one of my favorite people on like statistics of duck hunting is surviving duck season, and he talks about like waders, pretty much every piece of gear, um, on hunting. And I remember you said you pointed us towards that video where we watched about
The
like how
chokes.
the choke tubes that they send you in the
Yeah.
box of the gun are actually awful and atrocious. And I
It's
honestly didn't know
yeah.
that. I've only shot a factory choke tube,
It
but
really, I mean, according to his research, it varies. Like some of them can be good. There's a whole range. Like they can be better than others. Some can be terrible. But yeah, most of them aren't great. I think
yeah,
is what his conclusion was.
I definitely think going into next year, I think I probably am going to buy like a modified, like a solid modified. I think what he uses like Charleston or something like that. I'm not really sure what he uses, but I don't know. I'm gonna do some more research on that. And I think honestly, like you said, like obviously with your gun kind of not being super accurate, but I think that's a very major thing is like us, we only shoot 20, 30 ducks a year at most because we don't hunt in the most prolific spots. But I think having that equipment to capitalize on as little of opportunities as we get is very crucial. And
Yeah, for sure.
um all right, we'll move off of the shotguns and stuff like that. I'll start with Cooper. What is like the one thing you have to have? We're going down to the river. We're going hunting. What is the one thing you got to have in your blind bag? The one thing now, but not like your calls and your gun and your shells. Like, what's one thing you got to have that's not related to harvesting the ducks?
Mm, off the top of my head, I always remember to keep hand warmers in my bag because
I knew
that'll.
you were going to say that.
I
I
knew he
mean,
was gonna say that
if
too.
your hands get cold, that can be a big factor in you wanting to go home. So,
Yes, it can. I know you said you got some the things off the TikTok shop, right? The heated or the plug-in hand warmers or whatever.
I didn't get them off TikTok Shop. I got them off Amazon. I have seen the ones off TikTok Shop though. They're pretty similar to the ones I got.
Yeah. Sora, what about you? What's your must-have in the blind bag?
I would say my must-have. I do have a few things that I like,
Go for it. Say
but
them all.
I always make sure to keep water in my bag because like it sucks whenever
Smart.
you're throwing decoys out. Whenever you get thirsty, you get tired. Always have water. Sometimes I'll throw in a Pop Tart, eat a little Pop
Yeah,
Tart blind.
you do love your mid-hunt Pop-Tarts.
And then my must have, I would say, just to switch it up and not be like Cooper, I do like my electric hand warmers. Those are really nice to have. I really like my headlamp.
Oh, yeah,
I got
that's
that
carry.
that like
Also,
$200 expensive headlamp, bro.
yeah,
That thing, it's
carry.
really
That
bright.
is actually the craziest part. Is not only carrying a headlamp, but carrying an extra headlamp. Because there's been countless times where I forgot one, and Cooper had one, or Cooper forgot one, and I
Yeah, I
gave it
always
to
make
him,
sure to carry a couple of them in my bag.
and one might go out. But that is very crucial. And honestly, that's an underrated thing to spend some money on because you can buy a headlamp for $20. Like
Yeah,
I would go to Shields that you did and buy one that's what was that thing like 75, 80 bucks or maybe like 150 bucks. I don't even know what it was, but that thing is like a car light and it's ridiculous. And I even think when you don't hunt with us, I think we literally steal it out of your room and take it on a
yeah,
hunt because
Cooper
it's like
does.
that thing is
Yeah,
crucial. And I mean, I don't
It
know,
bright. It
but
really
for
does brighten up your world.
for me, my for me, my go-to thing that like is very smart to have is I kind of like one in like together. Not only like your normal hunting gloves, but having like a pair of like leather gloves or some type of like work glove with a pair of clippers because
that's true.
That's
countless
very
times
true.
we're having to brush in blind because we don't have a set blind down there on the river, which we might, not have to worry about that this year as much. But at the same time, having clippers and having like a pair of gloves to move stuff, throw decoys out, that is such a crucial thing to have to not only brush in your blind but have your hands to protect your hands from getting cut. um and my final question about duck hunting for the day is, what is one thing that you plan to like improve on that you from like the last few years of duck hunting? What's one thing, whether it's your calling, your shooting, your you know improve on duck knowledge, whatever it is, like what's one thing that you can improve on that you're going to bring to the table for next year for our duck season?
I definitely want to practice my calling some more and learn some new techniques for sure.
Yeah,
And I do want to have better aim for next year. So I want to
yeah,
fix the gear that is kind of stopping me from that
yeah,
and hopefully be able to kill some more ducks.
I agree. um so have you have an answer yet or no? Because I know you're a little slow sometimes.
Yeah, I got to answer. I plan on pretty much doing the exact same. I have not had a nice duck call the past few years, so I've just been letting Cooper and Max do the duck calling. I've been the goose guy. I got the
That's
goose
pretty.
call. I'm dialed in on the goose call. But so I plan on to dial in my duck calling, and also I plan on getting a new choke that hopefully improves my shooting. It
Yeah,
isn't
for
as
sure.
bad. I'm already decent, but
Yeah, you're a pretty good shot.
doesn't help. It always helps to get better.
Oh, for sure. One thing for me, I think that I would like to, not necessarily duck season, but I would like to get a new goose call and learn better on the goose call because I feel like when not only this year me calling, or again previous years me calling by myself, and Cooper experienced that when I wasn't there. Um, Calling by yourself is not only doesn't sound as good, but it's so tiring and so like you're out of breath like crazy when you're blowing and blowing and blowing on the duck call and there's nobody there to
Yeah,
back you up, or when you're called, like, when it gets cold and your call like freezes up. And I think that's a reason why we were more successful this year, is because we had two different calls. We're sounding like multiple different ducks, and I think that would help us because we struggle in turkey, in not turkey, but goose season. We struggle in goose season because we have
Yeah.
one caller who's, yeah, I mean, you're not a phenomenal caller, but you're pretty good, right? And it only helps to have another caller. So that's one thing. Obviously, you can always improve on your calling and your shooting. And I think I'm going to get a new choke tube as well, like you guys have said, to take advantage of the little opportunities that we get. But I think getting a new goose call and working hard on that, and then also honestly working on our cover, making sure we're hidden, making sure we're taking opportunities that we. That's honestly staying hidden and taking opportunities that we didn't last year, because I can't even think of how many hunts you guys texted me like, "Oh, we should have shot one today. We just didn't shoot, or nobody called the shot." Or, "Oh, like when we were hunting on the lake that one time, a gadwall comes flying through the spread, and there's four of us, and nobody pulls the trigger." And it's just like
Yeah.
there was probably I'm gonna be very confident in this. There's probably upwards of 40, 50 ducks we should have killed this year if we were covered and concealed like we should have been, or somebody would have just shot the duck. Or because everybody wants to wait for the pack of 20 to come in, but you know what I mean? Like if you can take one or two where you can get it, it's smart. So I think that's being ready, and honestly being covered and concealed will honestly I think is one major thing that we need to work on. I think we if we do that, we'll kill 20 more ducks next year than we did this year.
yeah, we were
Um
definitely too picky. We did learn when you got a chance, you gotta take it.
yeah,
Yeah, for
100%.
sure.
I don't know if that's we just need to work on like clay pigeons a ton before season or what, but I think that that's definitely one thing that, or two things that we definitely all of us need to improve on, is cover and just pulling the trigger when they're there. So, um, next thing I was obviously going to talk about is because spring is on the way, and like you said in the last episode, Sora, that you've seen some turkeys out there, and do you guys have anything on the you have your cameras out right now or no?
I think we
Uh,
have like one in the field right now.
Gotcha. Are you going to put more out, or do you guys kind of like stay away from that during turkey season?
Yeah, we'll put more out. We got a few cameras that we gotta switch around, but once we get the SD cards, like stuff on those deleted, batteries back in them, definitely put some out up there along the wood edge where the turkeys usually come out.
I gotcha. So, are you still trapping this time of year, or are you quit trapping by now?
we're
We
done
quit trapping. We
trapping.
just got our traps the other week,
Yeah,
so we're
gotcha.
done.
When does turkey season even start? I don't even remember.
I think it
Do we
Mm,
even
starts
know? Do we
mid-April.
even? Is it mid-April
Well, for
sometime? So
us,
you got
because
like, what do you got, like a
we can't
month
hunt
now?
youth season anymore. So
Yeah, I
isn't youth
forgot.
season like in the end of March or something?
yeah, I think
It
it's the
usually is like
last
into
week of
March or
March,
first
first
week
week
of
of April.
April.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I didn't realize turkey season was that close around the corner.
yeah. That's
yeah.
why
Better
it's
practice that turkey call, bud.
yeah. Sore in the diaphragm. You still got that down or what? You're definitely not killing any turkeys with that. But no, so I mean, do you
Yeah, that
guys?
was Cooper's
How often? I
call.
mean, I know you're both in college, right? So you're both have some free
Yeah,
time to go turkey hunting in the mornings and whatnot. And
yeah. I'll be
do you
hunting
guys have the
Monday,
land?
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday,
Uh, how long it takes, right? But
however
you
long it
guys,
takes. We are getting a video out, boys.
we need to badly. I'm actually gonna miss turkey hunting this year. That's such an turkey run. Turkey hunting is one of the most underrated hunting I think known to man.
That
Like
is so
everybody wants to
true.
shoot a deer, everybody wants to shoot a duck, everybody even dove hunting's massive, but nobody I feel like turkey hunting is just not like a publicized. It's starting to get big again, but I feel like nobody's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to kill a turkey. Everybody kills their one
Yeah.
turkey and nobody says
Yeah.
anything about it.
There's nothing like sitting there and hearing a turkey gobble right there.
Yeah, it's
So
especially
exciting.
early in the morning.
It gets you hyped
Yeah,
up.
I
I think
actually
I
have
think
a.
my go
Oh, I
ahead.
was gonna say, I actually have a story the subscribers might not, well, they don't know about. Is last year I was on a turkey hunt with the GoPro, and I was filming the hunt, and I happened to have a gobbler come 10 yards in front of me, and I have it all on camera.
And he
It's
missed the
full
turkey.
strut. No, it's full strut, and I shoot the turkey, and everything's good. Like, everything's on camera. And I just filmed the whole video, and once I get home to check the footage is like corrupt. It didn't record or something, and I wasn't able to get the footage.
And then he woke up
Yeah,
from his dream.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's Cooper, all right. Cooper is the worst luck with cameras and uploading
Technical
videos.
issues.
I swear,
Yeah.
I'm the only one. I'm the only one who can do it. I swear. You got you. Sort. I'm sort of have a
I did
computer
it.
yet,
I got
but
a turkey video the other year.
you did do a turkey video. I do remember that. That thing. For some reason, like I
What you
said,
know
turkey
about
videos.
rolling down in the deep.
What?
Bro, what? I don't even know. He's on something, but. No, for sure. I also my favorite turkey hunt was it was us three. We were in the box blind, and I think for like 2 hours straight, we just died laughing. And we were literally just laying in the bottom of the dirt, like laying in the bottom of the blind, not paying attention, and out of nowhere, the
Oh
GoPro's
yeah.
running. This video's out there somewhere. The GoPro's running, and just out of nowhere, Sora's like, did you hear that? Like it's
Yeah.
obviously he's whispering, but he goes, did you hear that? It sounds like two hens. Or sound like a hen. And we like slowly stand up and there's two hens like 10 yards from the blind.
Yeah, they're like
That
purring, bro, right in front of us. I was
yeah,
like,
that was so funny. That is the funniest thing when you're trying to laugh and be quiet at the same time is the hardest thing to do.
yeah, it
And it
is.
makes you laugh even harder.
Especially whenever you're laughing with someone else. Like I just can't stop laughing ever.
Yeah, that's why it's very. That's honestly, I'm gonna be honest. That's why I like duck hunting more than I like any other type of hunting because you can laugh and joke and
Yeah, that's
kind of
true.
just talk back and forth without worrying about scaring a deer off or
Yeah.
scaring anything. But Cooper, you tell the story. Tell the story about when we were duck hunting and we were absolutely hail calling. And what? 2 minutes later, three deer were 15 yards behind us.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were like just going crazy on our duck calls because there was ducks like a mile out, and we were trying to get their attention, and they flew by and didn't give us a look, and we were just sitting there, and I think you saw the deer, and you're like, Cooper, there's deer behind us, and they were about 50 yards out, and then they walked in to about like, I don't know, like 10, 15 yards, and they just kind of looked at us, couldn't really tell what we were, and just walked off. They didn't get scared. I've never
Yeah.
been that close to deer.
Yeah, it was
A
crazy, and I
lot of
honestly,
deer.
I didn't realize it like how much deer just like didn't. It's funny because if we just straight up walked through the woods, we would scare every deer in a 300-yard radius. But we're sitting there duck calling, like I'm telling you, blowing your eardrums out, and they just do not care. It makes no sense to me. Deer are the most like meticulous, picky animals I've ever met. Like, not obviously not met them, but ever like encountered in my life. Like they're curious, but then like you drop a pin and the one in two
Yeah.
counties over runs away. Makes no sense. They're
Yeah.
frustrating. All right, I got one. I just thought of this question. A would you rather? A would you rather shoot 50 mallards, all greenhead, in a year of duck hunting, or a 140-inch whitetail? Sure.
I'd go with the I'd say mallards.
I'd say
I don't know.
mallards.
Honestly, I'd probably say that's tough and
Although
it's hard for me. I
that's a
I
nice
miss deer
deer.
hunting. I miss deer hunting, so I'm gonna have to say I'm gonna have to say I'd take the deer because I feel like
Because he already
the
shoots 50
statistics.
mallards in a
Yeah.
year.
I don't know if I've shot 50 mallards. I've shot like upwards of like 50 birds in a year, but not mallards, that's for sure. But alrighty, so obviously springtime's coming up. Cooper gets tired of fishing ponds around our neighborhoods
Area.
and yeah
Yeah.
area. Soar's more turned into the fisherman who likes the pond fishing. So I'll go with you first, Soar. Like, what is your goal for the springtime? Because I know after about June, fishing becomes absolute trash, and it gets to be 175 out, and the only thing you can do is golf from 6 a.m. to
Yeah.
9 a.m., and then you go sleep inside. So what is the do you have like a goal number, or like do you have like a thing that you would like to go fish, or something you would like to catch this spring number wise, or like whether it could be limit a crappie?
I'd say I would definitely like to try and get a PB bass because I honestly don't even know what my personal best bass is. It's probably around 4 pounds, but I have no clue. I don't really keep track of that, and I never really have. I have my crappie since that was an absolutely massive crappie a
Yeah.
few years back, almost state record. But
You know what else
I
is
plan
massive?
on what?
The low taper fade, man.
Oh,
Cut
well,
that out.
I plan
I had to
on
say it.
I plan on filming a lot of videos. I actually want to do a lot of catch clean cooks, whether that's
For
crappie
sure.
or like stunted bass in our cousin's pond, or
Yeah,
even
for sure.
fishing out at the property. I want to catch some more giant catfish for sure on some bait
Yeah.
poles. That's always fun.
I mean,
But
I
yeah,
think for sure. I think for sure you could get a like what is that called? Bank line
yeah,
video or something again, and like maybe a catch and cook
we
for
always
sure.
catch fish doing that. But yeah, just some catching cooks and hopefully catching some big fish.
Yeah, I mean, I hope you guys get at least one turkey on film this year, like a good solid turkey hunt. I mean, I think at least I think our aim for the summertime, which is very hard to do, I think maybe in the springtime 2 videos a month, and then in the summertime probably about what 1 video a month because it's just so difficult to. It's not like we travel anywhere to go record fishing or hunting videos, so honestly,
Yeah.
I hope next year we can. I hope you guys can, at least get out maybe a turkey video and then a few fishing videos. But Coop,
Yeah,
do you have any fishing plans or what?
I mean, I would say catch a new PB bass, but it's gonna be a while before that happens. So
Yeah, you got a
I
big
think
one.
something a little more attainable would be catching my first muskie,
Ooh, true. That's a good one. That's
or
great.
uh, or catching a new another giant flathead would be cool.
Yeah. What is your PB bass? It's like what 8, 9, something like that.
Yeah.
That fish was massive, literally huge.
yeah, that's like double my PB.
Yeah, me too. Mine was like 5'4" or something like that. I've never. Well, the problem is there's just in Illinois. I really don't feel like there is a major bass population unless you find some old grandpa's farm pond that he stocked 20, 30 years ago that's nobody's touched. And
Yeah.
in my opinion, in my true honest opinion, if you're fishing in a like 1 acre pond or maybe a 2 acre pond, I don't want to say it doesn't count, but if you catch a 6 pounder on a lake and a 9 pounder in a 1 acre pond, the 7 pounder is way more impressive.
Yeah,
Just
I agree.
because I think that's a big thing that like a lot of people overlook is like if you go fishing on, let's say Lake Springfield, and you catch a 7, 8 pound bass, that's crazy. But if you go to just a regular pond, who like catching it like if you go to our lovely golf course pond that nobody's supposed to fish and you catch a 6 pounder, that's pretty average, right? That's pretty like
Yeah, that
you know what I
Yeah.
is.
mean? But
Someone catches that every single time we go there.
yeah, it's I mean it's still fun, don't get me wrong, but Honestly, bass have moved down my list on fun fish to catch so quickly. Like I used to be so fun to catch fish. Like I used to love to catch bass. Bass have moved down my list so much because I'm so tired of catching a 2 pound bass. It's no longer that enjoyable.
Yeah, we don't live in a great area for catching big bass.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Really, the only way you're gonna catch big bass around here is like, as you said, private places. So
for sure. I mean, for me, I think my number one, probably my favorite fish to catch, and it's really the hardest thing to beat, is when you're on the crappie. When you're catching 10-inch, 11-inch, 12-inch crappie, it's so hard to beat. When you're catching
that's
30,
true.
40 of them, like it's you can't beat that. They fight hard. You got light tackle. I mean, I think that's one of my favorite fish to catch. Um, I think in what is it? What is this year? Is it 2025 or 24? I can't remember. It's 25, I think.
2025.
In the summer of 26, I would like to have a little CSM trip up north to Minnesota, and we could, try and catch a muskie and maybe go some walleye fishing and whatnot. I think that would be pretty fun.
Yeah,
I'd also like to trout fish and like fly fish in the driftless area, which is like Wisconsin, Iowa, and like those little tiny trout streams. So I mean, I feel like fishing just became boring around our area. I'm being honest. I mean,
Yeah, I
yeah,
Cooper, I
agree.
know
And
I know
lots of
you can
kids
weigh
like
in
to
on this.
fish. Lots of kids
Yeah,
like
yeah.
to fish at the ponds that we fish. Some are
yeah,
overfished, but we just try and get by with what we can.
I mean, it's gotten to the point. I mean, we've kind of started river fishing, which is actually really fun because you
for sure.
don't know what you're going to catch. It could really be anything.
Yeah, that is. It is probably up there on. That's probably like my number one or number two places to fish around. Our area. To like that's probably the most fun you have fishing is when you're and the best honestly is on a summer morning. When it's the only cool time is from 7 to 8, and you're in the trees, fishing for a catfish, and you catch a catfish, and we've done that countless times, and we just need to put it on video. Is catch a catfish and grow it up right there on the shore. I mean, that is, in my opinion, that's the best place to eat a fish. Is right out
Yeah,
of the creek, river, to lake. You know,
Yeah.
from catch to stomach is an hour apart or less. You know what I mean? Like that is, you
Hmm.
can't beat it. Um, I definitely think that we have a big future in CSM, and I think once we're all kind of reunited and we're able to make one or two videos a month, I think we should have a pretty good, like I think we could gather a pretty good following, like the Guggen or like Lunkers TV or any of those guys. I think we definitely could create a pretty big platform, because I feel like not many people fish and hunt like we do. I feel like there's a handful of them out there, but you have guys that strictly fish or strictly hunt or barely do one of the other. um,
Yeah.
and we're
but
always
yeah,
looking for new stuff to do. Like we're not
for
just set
sure.
on just this. Like
Yeah,
how you're the one that introduced us into duck hunting. Just got
yeah,
into
for
that.
sure. I
Introduced
mean,
our
and
dad to that. Now we're like
yeah,
getting pond and whatever else.
yeah. I mean, and you guys. I mean, it's kind of cool how it works because what we've been neighbors our whole life, and like you guys
Yeah,
introduced me into turkey hunting. I'd never been
Hmm.
turkey hunting before, and like you guys never been duck hunting, and it's kind of cool just to see like we're learning how to hunt. Yes, yeah, yes. Both of our dads, like obviously your guys' dad hunts and has hunted for a long time, and your grandparents fish and hunt, and like my dad hunted and like all that. But it's kind of cool just to learn from each other the stupid mistakes and the smart things we do, and I don't
Yeah.
know. I find it
yeah,
really cool just learning, like sort of like you've obviously I was a better goose caller than you, and I showed you how to do it, and then within a week you're somehow better than I am. And
yeah,
even like showing Coop how to duck call, Cooper's catching me on the duck call, and I don't know. I find it really cool that we all learn off each other, and we're our small little community. Like we're just kind of teaching all of us each other about different things, and I think we definitely have a big bright future of what we can do and what we can create, but if you have any ideas, if you obviously anybody if anybody does listen to this, of like videos or podcast ideas or anything, for sure, just email us or something. But I mean, do you got anything to say, old Coop?
No.
Yeah. Sorry, anything?
Nah, I don't think so. Not that I could think of.
All right. Well, like I said, I'm going to keep these around 30, 40 minutes. So we're around the 35-minute mark. This will be out a week after. I think I'm going to post. We're going to try to create 3 or 4 of these to post like this coming week, the next week, and then the week after that. And then just to get it started. And then we're probably going to do maybe one every 2 weeks or once a month. Um, but I don't have anything to say, and the boys have nothing to say. So we appreciate you for listening. When we do get reunited and we all can sit down and actually make a podcast, we'll start a video podcast. So for right now, it's just going to be voice, but we'll get a
Yeah,
studio somewhere and we'll get working on
we
it.
can show
But
off our beautiful faces.
exactly. But thank you for tuning in to episode 2 of CSM After Dark. We'll catch you in the next one.
Peace out.